Would you like to join an Overwatch guild? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost, and I'm losing my voice. Alright, welcome to the channel. So what we're going to do today is talk about the possible inclusion of an Overwatch guild or clan system and what that could mean for the game. Now, I've kind of covered this before in the past. I'm on record saying I would like this in the game. However, there is a very interesting post, a very small post, but it's still very interesting nonetheless, on the official forums from Jeff Kaplan, who is, of course, the game's director. And basically, this thread is saying, are we ever going to get like a guild system or a clan system for Overwatch? And Jeff says this: we would be very excited to work on a system like this. That's all he says, right? And off he goes. Well, we need to understand who Jeff Kaplan is to actually realise why this is a pretty huge thing. So who is Jeff? What the hell is Jeff? What's his history? Well, if you're a World of Warcraft player, you will know that Jeff was one of the designers of World of Warcraft, and he was actually responsible for designing a lot of the quests in the game, and he actually worked on World of Warcraft up until 2009 and when he left. But how the hell did he get that job? And why was he even working on it in the first place? Well, he used to be called, or I guess he kind of still is called, Tigol. That was his in-game name. And he used to play EverQuest. Now, I've played a lot of EverQuest myself. It's a very old MMO, but it's basically an MMO which was the blueprint for modern day MMOs. Jeff was in one of the best guilds for that game, a guild called Legacy of Steel, and they were one of the high-end raid guilds. They were a really good guild, and Jeff was very well known for his colourful feedback he would give the developers of that game on how to improve their game. Now, also in that guild, this is a nice little bit of information as well, it was run by a guy called Rob Pardo. Now, if you're a World of Warcraft player, you'll know who he is because he's another game designer at Blizzard Entertainment. So basically what happened is, from all of that experience, Jeff got to work with Blizzard. I think he joined them in 2002 or around about. I think he was involved in working on Warcraft 3 in some respect, or he joined them during the development of that game, but he is most known for working on World of Warcraft, and he worked on that up until 2009. And of course, we know Wrath of the Lich King was the last expansion which came out then, which is widely seen as the best expansion for that game, bar none. Everybody loves that. It was completely ridiculous. He left then to work on an unannounced project, which of course we now know today is Overwatch, and it was beautiful. In fact, it was Titan, which was the code name for a new MMO, which they scrapped and then turned into Overwatch, which, thank God, because Overwatch is absolutely a beautiful game. So that's kind of the history of Jeff. He has a very strong MMO history. So this means he would he would be bringing a lot of MMO sort of knowledge and experience to any kind of system that they could introduce into Overwatch. So how the hell would a guild or clan system work when it comes to Overwatch? Now, I think clan is probably a better name, or maybe they come up with some other name. Calling it a guild, I don't think would work, because that is, well, it refers to like fantasy MMOs and stuff like that. You know, I've played a lot of Counter-Strike in the day. I was in a Counter-Strike clan. I was in a Day of Defeat clan, if anyone remembers that game. That was awesome, man. Holy hell. World War II shooter game. Oh, Half-Life 1, yeah. Never played Day of Defeat Source. But anyway, yeah, how the hell would this work? Like, what would they do? Well, if you look at Overwatch, there are various Watchpoints all over the world. It wouldn't really be that difficult if you sort of had, like, you know, you've got Watchpoint Gibraltar, you've got Eco Point Antarctica and places like that. These are Overwatch bases. It wouldn't be that difficult to just sort of have an Overwatch base for your Overwatch kind of clan, or your Overwatch division, your Overwatch sort of sub-branch, you know, your Overwatch franchise. I don't know what I mean, Overwatch franchise would be such a terrible name to call it, because that's kind of what the game is, I suppose. But you know what I'm saying, like a type of clan base, like an operation center where you can sort of work from. But you're probably thinking, Sty, why the hell are you going on about this? Why the hell do we even need this? We've got a friend system in the game. If we see people we like and we want to play with them, we'll add them as a friend, then we'll send them a message and go, hey, would you like to play some games with me? And sure, you will totally do that. Thing is, though, this goes a little bit deeper. This is about building a community inside the game, because right now, Overwatch, it's very difficult to sort of build a community, right? Let me just explain this. So if you go into a game in Overwatch and you're playing with like nobody, you're just solo queuing, right? You find a guy and that's great and he plays well, so you add him to your team or her to your team, and the next game you play in, you lose, that person instantly leaves the team and that's it. So you won't see them again because they're like, I'm not playing in this duo queue, whatever. It's very difficult to sort of form relationships like that. Now, if you're playing with your friends, you're just playing with your friends, right? They're friends from outside of the game. The only really sort of way I've seen people build friendships in Overwatch is the very high-end community. So the guys who are like in the top 500, they all know each other because they play with each other constantly. So they kind of become friends. And even to the extreme of that, you'll get the esports guys who will get together, and then they'll start, you know, they'll have Discord chat groups and all things like that. And that's all it comes about because they keep playing with each other all the time. Problem is, in all the other ranks, there's so many players that you generally don't see the same player again. Sometimes you might do, but it's very rare that you see that. So how can you build a community for other players? And this is what really interests me about this, because I can see like a Unit Lost Overwatch guild in a way. And what this guild does, or clan does, is it is it'd be pretty big, right? Because it'd be based off the YouTube channel, but everybody's involved in it, and it can set up sort of events and stuff like that. So imagine if you could be like, right, we're going to be doing I don't know, a competitive evening. We need a support, right? You could just find a support player from your guild and bring them in. Because if they're in your guild, you're probably going to trust them, right? Provided they're the same, around the same rank as you get them in your team, and off you go and you can play. That would be awesome to have that resource of players. I mean, this player base is out there. The game just doesn't do a very good job of showing you where they are. So honestly, that's what interests me the most about a potential clan or guild system, is just forming communities inside the game that you can actually play with and have a good time with. Because the game's community is massive, but at the moment it's having to go off the game to find other people to play with, which is difficult, right? Because everybody is all over the place in terms of skill rating. Imagine if you could log into the game and go, you know what, I'm going to just check the guild to see who's online. I'm a master level player, let's have a look. Oh yeah, there's a master level tank, there's a master level support there. Hey guys, do you want to join me? And they're like, yeah, sure, because you're a master level DPS, so you've got 3 guys there. You join up in a triple cube and off you go and you start playing the game. That would be phenomenal. That would be such a good thing to do, and it would just, I think that would make the game so much better. But we've got to remember here, this is Overwatch and it's an FPS game. I'm not calling for it to be turned into an MMO or turned into World of Warcraft or anything like that. I still want it to be the game that it is. I don't want it to just be this sort of community-based, clan-based building game, because that would be a bit weird, right? But I don't know whether it would be in the long run, because you've got to think, right now we've got, well, we're going to get the custom game system soon, but we've basically got 2 ways of playing Overwatch, right? You either play it competitively or you play it in the arcade. I guess you could say quick play potentially, but I don't think quick play is that popular, to be honest. I think a lot of people play in the arcade or they play on straight up in competitive. So to have the option of other content, like imagine if they bring out PvE content, which I always go on about PvE content, and I am fairly sure they will bring PvE content out for this game at some point. If you had a clan that you could pull players from to tackle that content, that would be phenomenal. That would be absolutely phenomenal. Oh, and I just want to finish this video off with talking directly to players who just want to play competitively, because I get that, right? It's all I really do, right? I just like to go and play competitive, play solo queue, whatever. I enjoy the game for that. I'm not saying dilute the game to the point of like give people tons of ways of playing the game. What you got to remember with Overwatch is it's got a massive player base, like an absolutely massive player base. So the more options you give people to play the game, or the more ways they can play the game, the more interested they remain in the game, and actually the more players come to the game. Because not everybody out there is a die-hard competitive player. Not everybody out there just wants to play fun game modes in the arcade. Some people might want to get together. Some people might want to form a community. I think we'll just finish on this point. When you go back to World of Warcraft and you look at that game, people still play that game to this day, just not because of the changes they like in the game or any of that. It's just because of the community. And if you could build that type of thing into Overwatch and give us this really solid foundation for a community, I think that would be awesome. There are of course some things I've missed. I haven't really gone into detail on what I would like to see in a guild system. I think it goes without saying, like in a guild or clan system, it'd be very nice to be able to decorate your base or build your base and do stuff like that. But we could just sit here all day talking about that. There's loads of MMOs out there which do that, loads of ideas that they could use, and it is absolutely ridiculous. But I want you guys to let me know what you think about this whole sort of clan system in the comments below. Now remember, Jeffrey's not saying they're working on this, he's just said that he would like to do it, which might indicate that at some point in the future they will work on this system. Thank you if you've listened to this whole video, because my throat is absolutely destroyed, and I know I don't sound like I normally do. It's because I talk too much, ladies and gentlemen, and well, yeah, I think you should probably go and rest now. Alright then guys, if you enjoyed the video, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and leave your crazy clan or guild ideas in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time guys. Toodaloo.